I'm bummed. I am pissed off a little bit and pretty much just upset. This isn't the way I thought I would be making this video. Where do I start? I guess first off, I'll start by telling you my son's name, which we didn't plan on revealing until his birth, but things change. My son's name is Landry Christian. And before I get into the story, I would just like to tell you about how we came up with that name. Landry is, to Chris, a very sports-oriented name. I know that there's a famous football coach of the Dallas Cowboys named Tom Landry, and that's not necessarily why Chris named him that. We're not Dallas Cowboy fans in the least. Chris is a Miami's fan, and I am a Philadelphia fan. So it has nothing to do with that. But there's a bunch of people with the last name Landry in sports now, and before Chris even said this name, when he said this name, I never once even heard of the name before. So that's why I fell in love with it. The second he said it, I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. It's not hard to spell. It doesn't look weird, but it's not common. I really don't like common names. I don't, and I don't want to offend anyone that does like common names. They're obviously common for a reason because they're nice names. Okay. Before I conceived, I'm sure anyone that's TTC probably has the names picked out already. I feel like I've had the names, if I had a son or daughter, I feel like we had the names picked out years before I conceived. Yeah. So anyway, obviously, if you guys have watched my journey, there was a possibility at one point that we were going to have twins. So we actually had twin boy names picked out and twin girl names picked out. And after that, we decided to only put one embryo in. And when we prayed for this baby, we called him out by name to God, asking for our son. And I guess that's why from the very, very beginning, after I had found out I was pregnant, I knew it was a boy. I just had this feeling that it was a boy from the very, very get-go, because that's who we prayed for. And to think of changing his name now, after calling him out by his name, to change that name now is just, I just can't do it. And anyway, I went on Facebook today, and a person that I am friends with through Facebook, we went to high school together, but I haven't talked to her in, I honestly have no idea how long, and haven't even talked to her on Facebook, and I talk to a lot of people on Facebook. Anyway, she has, I think, 2 other children, and then just had a baby today. And she named her daughter the name that we have chosen for our son. And I am so bummed about it. I know this wouldn't bum out a lot of people that have common names, like Mason or Jacob or something like that, because guess what? That name's very common. The name that we chose is not common whatsoever, and that is purposely why we picked it out. We didn't want to share it because we didn't want people to take it. I know that sounds selfish, but I don't know. when Chris said he didn't want to announce the name until he's born, I was kind of like, wait, what? I was so excited to, tell everyone what his name was. But then he's like, well, no, I want it to be a surprise and I don't want people to take it. And then that made sense to me. So I'm not really that great at keeping secrets. So all of my friends knew, my family knew that his name is what it is. And I'm kind of kicking myself now that I didn't announce it publicly because I don't want people to assume that I am copying off of her now because it's not a common name. To think of changing that now, I can't. We have, obviously, like I said, another name picked out because at one point we were going to assume that we were having twins, and Chris saw how upset I was about this, and he asked me if I wanted to change it to the other name that we had picked out, and I just can't. I just can't. He's been Landry since before he was born, and when I asked God, I'm going to start crying. When I asked God for my son, I told him I was ready for my son, Landry Christian, and I wanted him now. And that's who we got. And, from the get-go, I felt like it was a boy. So I just felt like I knew Landry this entire time. So I can't change his name. It just upsets me because it's not a common name. We don't have friends with babies. I don't know anyone with that name, to be honest. I don't know one person. And I know it's not a name like no one on earth has, obviously. But no one in our circle of people we know have that name. So, that's why I'm upset. I called my mom. I always call my mom when I get upset, and she just didn't really understand why I was so upset about it, and I'm sure a lot of you watching probably don't understand that either, and it's okay that you don't understand why I'm so upset, but I just can't believe that with a name so different and unique that someone else picked it. Someone we know. Literally 2 months before my son's born. So, whatever. I wanted to announce his name now because kind of learned my lesson. If we have another child, the name will be announced the second we find out we're pregnant. And I guess I felt like I was on the border with, why you shouldn't announce the name as to why you should. And, Chris didn't want to, so, I sided with him. But also, like, when you tell someone a name, there are rude people out there that are like, ugh, I don't like that name. Or what kind of name is that? Or, ew, I knew this really gross kid. That was his name. Or something, just something negative. And I didn't want that aspect of it. So we did keep it a secret for, not a secret completely. I told all of my friends, like my close friends, that what his name was from the very beginning. And so I know that if anyone would ever say anything to me along the lines of like, didn't so-and-so just name her kid that? Anyone that knows me, knows me very close, knew that we had that name picked out for a very, 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 very long time now. So, yeah. I'm over it now. I got my cry out, but this wasn't really the name or the way I wanted to announce his name, but nothing I ever plan out in my head ever goes the way I think it's going to go. So I shouldn't have expected anything different. But yeah, I am happy to announce his name, Landry Christian, and I don't plan on changing it. I can't. So thank you guys for being understanding as to why I would be upset over something like this. I'm sure there's people watching this that are like, oh God, who cares? But I don't know. when you put so much into a name, like when you have it for so long and, you know, before he's born, and then, you know, you find out you're having a son, and it's like everything just falls into place and everything makes sense. Like, this name means so much to us now, and I don't know, to have that happen where someone else, you know, just a couple weeks before you names their kid that, it's like, what? Like, how does that happen? It's not like it's not like his name is Landon. Landon's a very common name. Or Logan, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. So anyway, thank you guys for being understanding as to why that would upset me. But I'm all right now, and we're keeping the name. Of course, we're keeping the name. So that's it. Sorry this video is long and not really like that happy. But yeah, that's it. Bye guys.